Good evening, everybody. Welcome back.
Welcome to the
Welcome
Artist and
back.
Thinker podcast. I am the artist, El Sweet.
And I am Terrence B. the Thinker.
Mm.
And today's subject, we are going to get into the thing that they keep trying to not talk about, they keep trying to avoid. And we're doing a quick disclaimer. When we say stuff like grape and SA, you know what we're talking about. So, because they really trying to get in us badly. They keep trying to block us on a lot of things. So we know what it is. So we have to change up our words that we use. But we are going to get into the what else, sweets?
The Epstein files, something that we have been asking for a very long time to be released. Something that so many people who were labeled conspiracy theorists have went on and on about this was going on. You had a whole subcult of a cult that is MAGA, QAnon folks, who were right, but wrong on who the main person was.
Mm-hmm.
And what this has revealed is everything that so many of us were saying was true. It has proven a lot of people who operated on these different beliefs that were considered conspiracies that it was true. And not only were they raping and taking children, they were eating people. They were
Like
doing
that.
all kind of rituals and everything you think of under the sun. And you still have people who are supporting it, which is crazy. It's like protect the children have now turned into protect the people who were harming the children, which is crazy work. But I
Crazy.
tell you who's not in the Epstein file. Okay.
Obama.
And what's so interesting is if Obama had did something,
He
and
would
I'm
have
not
been the
saying that
first
he is
one.
safe. I want to establish I am not saying that he has never got his hands dirty because I'd be lying.
Right.
But I will say that if he had any kind of workings in it, they would have made sure to put him front and center.
Absolutely.
I mean, right now, the Clintons are getting their just dessert with it. But here's my thing. Like you and I said before, I don't care who's in it.
Yeah.
You did it, you need to go down. There's no getting
Exactly.
around it. You need to go down. There's no there's no getting around that part. And um I think that this is an eye opener for a lot of people. But the crazy part is the ones who still aren't convinced. They will believe that the Democrats made this whole big hoax that they're releasing all of this stuff, but they do believe that the hippo that was jumping through a circle is real. It's crazy work.
It's very crazy because let's not forget that this is only half. 3 million is only half of the 6 million
6
total
million.
that have been released.
Mhm.
And
And
the
don't
stuff that
forget, remember all the ones that were removed?
oh yeah, absolutely. Removed, tampered with,
The
messed
ones that were
around with.
removed that had, but the ones that were removed that had Trump's name on it. And they said that they were trying to scrub them. Think about the things we have already seen. So imagine the things that were removed. Just imagine the things that were removed. And if we want to we can take some of the heat off of Trump for a second because he's not the only one mentioned. There are so many people mentioned. There are so many people who were influencers, gurus, actors, musicians, you name it, they were there. And the crazy part is you have some people's names who were mentioned, and you have to remember some of it is just because of FBI tips that anybody can call and make a tip. That does not necessarily make it true. But when we're looking at conversations, excuse me, we're looking at emails, we're looking at text message exchanges of some of these things that are these people saying babies taste like cream cheese. or how they like a certain type of woman who is underage. Like, they literally were boldly talking about this. So, just enjoying it. So,
Yeah.
Pizzagate was Epstein.
Yeah.
No getting around it.
Ain't no
Pizzagate was
getting
Epstein.
around. Ain't no getting around that.
And it's just so crazy how people forget that the internet is forever,
Oh,
and how us saying, "Come on now," out of all the people you see with him, who you see the most? Trump. Partying with him, having a good time, all
mhm.
the things. And to make something even disturbing, Trump recently just got up and said he was asked a question. He was like, "Oh, I hate that they're targeting Clinton. Me and Clinton have similar taste in things." And yeah,
Oh,
and I'm
but
sitting here like, bruh, they about to get out and they probably about to help throw you under the bus even more.
yeah, I agree with that. And another thing is that a lot of people are looking at us like us as a people is like, why are y'all not in an uproar? I was like, well, when you hear them talking about saying babies taste like cream cheese, you have to understand that they fed our children to crocodiles. They
When it comes to
enslaved,
black people in slavery,
yeah,
this is not surprising to us.
it's not surprising to us because they essayed our women, they fed our children to crocodiles. And if you go
Mhm.
back and look at our history and actually look at the history that
And not
they
just
keep
women,
trying to
don't forget
whitewash,
men.
and they keep trying to like flip it to try to make it look as not as bad as it was, which is a BS in its terminology to begin with. And so you see all of this stuff. We see all of what they've done to us as a people. And to see in these files that they did all this stuff is not surprising to us. It's not surprising to us as a people because we
Mhm.
know our history. We know what they've done to us as a people. So to see it done in this manner and severity, it's not shocking to us. But for people to sit there and still try to say, oh, it's not that bad, and as a matter of fact, try to defend it,
It's
try to
sick. You
defend
just
it,
as sick
it's
as
sickening.
them.
You're part of the problem and you're just as sick as the people in those files. And that's just no BS. There's no hopping around that. That you're just as
Mhm.
responsible as the
And
people in the files.
I'm not gonna say we. Americans who supported Trump created this narrative that he feels he can get away with so much stuff.
Yep.
He openly said that he could, pew pew somebody and he still would be good. People still would support him. He turned around, made it very clear that he would grab a woman by her meow meow if
Yep.
he was interested in her. And now you're shocked? And then when he made fun of the guy who's disabled, now you're shocked? The sad part of it, it took releasing all of that for people to believe those women
Which is a damn shame.
instead of believing the victims. You had to wait to sit and see bestiality, cannibalism, and all kind of forms of grape
Yep.
between all different people, women, men, children, babies. It didn't matter. All kind of crazy rituals. I mean, heck, they even mentioned something about time traveling in there. So many things for instead of just believing those victims.
Yep.
There are some people who have discovered some of these things and they are forever changed because they're like, oh my goodness. Because let's be honest, we know that the elites are they bored and they just do any and everything because they feel like they have the power.
Yep.
But to watch a movie like Eyes Wide Shut, to watch Skull and Bones type
Yep.
movies, to watch it in a movie and be like, oh my God, that's crazy. But then to find out that it's real is intense.
Very.
But we aren't alarmed. Like I haven't, like I remember the first time I stumbled across um what is it called? The one we were just talking about, Peatscape. It was when it was during COVID. So Trump was already president. And somebody was trying to say it was Hillary and they was trying to tell all these things. They were telling all these celebrities. And I'm sitting here like, but we not including him? Like, I was like, wait a minute. And then you had these people say, well, Trump is here to reveal the deep state and say, and I'm like, what in the world? So then when I started looking at the stuff that was kind of some BS versus the stuff that was factual,
Mm-hmm.
and because you have to go in it with open eyes and open ears and closed
Mm-hmm.
mouth to really digest certain things. Because I always say when it comes to things that are considered conspiracy theories, a lot of things that are considered theories, a lot of things that became fact do start in some form of a conspiracy to a theory.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have to weigh out some stuff because now I can't share it with you, Terrence, because it's like, I don't know, it's not a private page. This woman was talking about some stuff. It was so much I could not comprehend. This other chick sent me to it. She sent it to it on our other page. Matter of fact, go on our other page. Girl
Will
got a
do.
red profile. Anyway,
Will
I
do.
digress. And she was trying to tie all this stuff together. I felt like I was on one of those roller coasters. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What? Like, and was some of the things she talking in it maybe hold truth? Yes. Was some of it maybe seeing the number 23? Yes.
Mm.
Seeing things in the clouds? Yes, because there are certain things where our minds are capable of starting to tie things together that may sound like they make sense but aren't true. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. But to have victims, to have so much evidence presented in front of you and still deny it, you're just as bad as the people who are the big problem. And as long as you sit there and justify it, they're going to continue to do it. Do I think that this is going to be the solving of everything? Because just as much as Epstein is gone, the people who hired him, the people who contracted him, still are running around. There will always be another Epstein.
Yep.
There will always be, but if we can get rid of, if we can hold these accountable, we're doing something. But
Yeah.
to not do nothing at all is cowardly on so many people's parts because he is the iceberg.
Yep.
Epstein
Tip.
is truly an iceberg that goes so deep down that it touches the ocean floor because there's layers upon layers. Like if you literally was to start when Epstein, like, you really started like breaking it down to when he first started doing things and start tying the people in that he started business with or friendships, and then look at their track record. And I am happy that people's eyes are being woken to some of this because it's one thing to have some kind of, nah, that can't be true. But even when you and I look at some things that we saw in the 90s,
Yep.
in the 80s, movies and stuff, and we watch it with a different pair of eyes, we're like, wait a minute, that was not cool. How did that get by us? But I do think that the veil has lifted on this, and I hope many more people take it in. Like you think about Woody Allen, Nasty Behind.
Yeah.
Just
That right there,
ugh.
like what I sent you on our profile, and I was when I couldn't listen to it all the way because I'm sitting there because this is his
But
wife
see, that story
telling
not
him,
the story not new. The
yeah,
crazy part is, like, I remember, and I was like, how come he he wasn't locked up for what he did, and then
yeah,
turn around and marry one of the kids.
and then to see
Now,
the hurt
another
in
person
his
who's a
wife,
creeper, when I say creeper, I mean creeper, the guy who wrote and directed the first 2 Jeepers Creepers was one of those PDF files who was torturing boys. His target was boys. He
Mm-hmm.
got in trouble for it, did some probation or a year or something, and got back out, and people still hired him. I Jeepers Creepers is my joint.
Yeah.
But to know this person was capable and he did all of this, it's hard to support that. I got into a discussion, deep discussion with a man I hold so dearly to my heart about R. Kelly and Diana Ross. And
Mm.
I know you're like two different people. Okay. I don't listen to R. Kelly's music.
Me neither.
I have my own personal experience that I know that everything they have said about that man is real. Okay.
Yep.
I having to go down how I witnessed it and was like, wait a minute. Those girls are extremely young. But anywho, I choose not to listen to his music because most of his music is geared to underage girls. He
Yes.
has a song where he is talking about Aaliyah when she was 12 years old.
Yep.
Um, Now, when it comes to, I believe holding both people accountable, women and men, because women are just as despicable as men.
Yes.
There's no girl code on this one. No, you're wrong. Just like one day we're going to really dive deep in how men experience being SA'd and raped at high numbers, and they're not comfortable with coming out because of the double standards that have been put upon them. But that's a
Yep.
different story for a different day. But when we talk about um Diana Ross, and the whole thing was, well, supposedly she had something going on with Michael. Well, if she did have something going on with Michael, when did she? When he came out with Dirty Diana, if we want to go off of the theory that there's about her, he was 29. If we want to go further, like, do we have the evidence of her doing things to little boys? Because if we do, put her in the pot with
And
all of them else.
And like we said
So,
in the beginning, what me and Sweet said, if y'all go back and look at our older episodes and podcasts, we said whoever, it don't matter what affiliation or party that you're with, it don't matter how famous you are. It don't matter. If you were in them files, you deserve what's coming to you. Point blank
mhm,
period. There is no, this is a black and white conversation. This is
yep,
something that there is no gray area. If you were in them files,
you
and I
just
don't care.
deserve it.
I don't care how famous you are. I don't care what party you were in representing with. I don't care if you
Mhm.
were a past president that did great things for this country. If you were in
Yeah,
the files, you deserve what's coming to
holding you
you.
accountable.
Point blank, period. And we made that
And
perfectly clear from the beginning when we started
I
talking
don't care
about
who
this
in
stuff.
it.
We don't care. We don't. We don't care at all. And
I
you
want
should be
all the
feeling.
victims to have justice. The ones who are still breathing and the ones who are not. And I mean, the when I say the rabbit hole goes thick. Like, I really truly feel like we should do deep dives,
Yeah.
especially on our backup page,
Yep.
Artisan Thinker 2.0, that to do deep dives on some of these creepers. Because there's a guy, I still haven't got his name. Ugh, that rich guy I told you that when Epstein says, "Oh, he didn't want the black ones." Oh, what they want us for is something totally different. They
Yeah.
want to get us for our melanin. That's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah.
A
That's a
whole
whole.
nother one. Like, it literally is so crazy when you go down the rabbit hole of them wanting our melanin, that there's a man.
Yep.
And I said, Terrence, I hate that I cannot remember his name, but don't you worry, I'm gonna have his name. That he pays women a lot of money to be with him and be with the child and then terminate so he can have the fetus.
Yep.
And I mean, he literally has his face snatched because he has been doing God knows what type of stuff. But when we talk about Epstein, the rabbit hole is so deep. That's why I said he is the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Because when you really start looking at these creepers and what they have done, things they have did down to Woody Allen, all of them, you just it just is. I can't get my words out because a lot of stuff I was aware of, but when you see it fully in your face, sometimes you just be like, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, once again, there's still certain elements of surprise that I don't have given what happened to our ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember telling someone, I said, y'all know they ate Nat Turner.
Yeah.
And they was like, what? I said, yeah.
Yeah. They cut up and dissected his brain trying to figure out how was he capable of this. And
Hmm.
they ate this man.
And he's not the only one.
He's
And
not the
then,
only one.
I mean, it's so much. And we talk about torture. So when you were mentioning a lot of things that would be the day-to-day life on a slave plantation. Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about some of the types of torture that they were doing to them. I'm not just talking about the beating. I'm talking about them literally taking a man, tying him up,
To a post.
and watching you guys rip him apart. I'm talking about them making a mother and a son do things to each other. I
Yeah.
mean, the rituals, the crazy cannibalistic things, the forms of bestiality
The buck
are
breaking. And for those that don't know what buck breaking is where
are
they
it
take the biggest, strongest looking slave, tie him to a post in front of all the other slaves, and have a a white man come out and grape him in front of everybody, his wife, his children, all of the slaves. It was called buck breaking.
so many there's so many
So
atrocities that happen that I say it like I said before in a post, those people didn't just disappear. They became these CEOs, these gurus, these famous and well-known elites, and they carried on their traditions.
so
And
when you see all of
what's
this
different
stuff and
now. Mhm.
we're not surprised because of things like that has happened to our ancestors that we know about, the things that they used to make to have around their necks and their mouths, the things that they used to create, the things that
Mhm.
are with bells and stuff hanging on them, that was constant torture to them
And
as
then
they wore
it
it.
makes.
It's not surprising to us what we're seeing in these Epstein files. To
Mhm.
us as a
That
people,
our teeth was used as dentures,
yes.
that our hair was used as cushions,
Yep.
but not to make this solely on slavery, because you and I could go on and on. But,
Hours and
and I
hours.
mean, what's crazy is slavery is not just a Black person thing. It's not just a African American thing. It is something that we have so many different examples of things that we do in our day-to-day life as a form of slavery, and this actually is affected people of all different colors, black, white, purple, green, you name it. They are affected by it. Down to
Mhm.
these crazy systems, and it goes back to the elite. It comes full circle, and this is what happening is it's coming full circle.
Yeah.
There's a topic that I do plan on touching more on, and it's about when you look at some of these right wing, hardcore right wing, um, alt right red pill community type people. And when I say this, I'm talking about people like Andrew Tate. I am talking about people like Nick Fuentes. I am talking about the Charlie Kirks. I am
Mhm.
talking about the Fresh and Fits. These guys, okay, stick with me. These guys are a product of SA. And
Yes.
I know you could be like, what? Stick with me. Think of their ideologies. Think about the people who they attach themselves to, the elite, the wealthy. In a weird turn of events, if they were victims, it goes to that same thing when we look at like Diddy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we look at some of the things that go on where abusers were abused, it kind of line up. I mean, really look at it. It lines up. I'm gonna do a little bit more deeper things so my claim holds more weight.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, I'm telling you, once you start really looking into it, and see, this is different because our eyes, we were already looking at the stuff,
Yeah.
but now you have so many eyes on it.
Yeah.
And the best thing that we can do right now, because hold we can't hold politicians to do the right thing. We can't hold lawyers and judges to do the right thing. If we do not keep talking about it, if we don't hold them accountable, if we let it just be swept under the rug and look at the next thing that's going on, the next war that Trump's trying to start, or some crazy stuff about tariffs, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be, or whatever the infamous country that starts with an I, we'll start saying it that way.
Yeah.
What they got going on, they will try to push this under the rug. They will try to make it seem like it's nothing. But I think people forget grape SA is extremely atrocious. It's horrible. There's no getting around it. It's horrible.
And going down
But
another.
wait,
Oh,
but
continue.
just one little part. Once you get to cannibalism, you are 1,000,000% not safe.
At all.
'Cause what makes it different for you not to be?
Yeah.
And all I was gonna say, and I'll stop so you can finish, I'm sorry, is that we have to continue. Like, I have no problem dedicating. That's why I said I'm for all the smoke.
Yep. Me too.
Of me
Likewise.
doing deep dives on every single one of them
Yeah.
and keep saying it. If we get suppressed on TikTok, okay. If we get
Cool.
suppressed on YouTube, okay. You can
Okay.
keep suppressing us, but we're gonna keep going. I feel like the victims and our ancestors, it is owed to them.
Yep. And another thing that if you want to go down the rabbit holes of why in the files where it says that Epstein did not want any niggas with the hard R, because, and this is in the files, you go look at them, the files that have been released, he specifically said he did not want niggas. And because one thing for sure, two things for certain, I believe he knew that we was not going to keep our mouths shut. We wasn't going to shut up. We was going to say
Well,
something. And then
so
go
even with
deeper.
even with that part, they
Yeah.
wanted us for something else.
Yeah.
But you have people like
Which is,
Naomi Campbell. Hold
yeah.
on, we got people like Naomi Campbell is infamous, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna sit here and make it because I know that has been taken and ran with about that. But like I said, what they wanted us for, honey, was even worse.
Yeah, because
Was
check this
worse.
out. Y'all see this right here, ladies and gentlemen? This right here,
I got a little
if
bit more than
you
you,
if
but
you follow this, melanin is worth more than gold. If you go and look at it and look at the price of melanin and put it up against gold, it's worth more. So that makes you ask more questions about what they wanted us for, which is something more sinister and deeper and darker.
and
Which
there's so
that
much
rabbit
more.
hole is deep, like Sweet said. That rabbit
Mhm.
hole is deep. Cause like when you go to like Hannibal Lecter level of type stuff, then
Ain't no coming
that
back.
that
And,
right
and
there with
speaking of
it.
Hannibal Lecter, gives you a different way of looking at it, right?
Yep, it does. It does.
When you talk about Hannibal Lecter, it really puts a whole new spin on this thing. Like, but I've not always. I'm not gonna say I agree or I disagree with this part, but when they talk about how predictive programming or they show you what they're going to do before they do it type thing, I'm not 100% on board with it. I do think it's not so much of them trying to reveal it to us, it's trying to make us aware. And it's not that it's being made aware always by the ones who are doing it, but the ones who have to find a way to stop it, to put some knowledge to it. So I think there's a little bit of both going on. But when you look at Hannibal Lecter, when I mean, Eyes Wide Shut is a good example of revealing what was going on, and you see what happened to the director. Um,
Hmm.
he ended, before it was over, and you remember they redid a lot of it and took stuff out that was too much, and they re-released it. I think a showing only was done somewhere in Europe of the actual his final cut of the movie.
Yeah, the director.
And
Yeah,
and we still can't get a hold of that copy. But when you
it's
think
very
about the
hard to
stuff
get a
that was
hold of it. You
going
got to go through the
on,
dark web to get that.
there were so many levels of it, down to the man in the store and his daughter comes out, and he basically had just had his daughter do some work for the Asian guy, if you know what I mean,
Hmm.
down to them taking the little girl at the end of the movie.
Yeah, the two
There
old
I
guys.
mean, there was a lot of things that were very telling of a realistic world that's going on. Think about the Wayfair thing. It doesn't sound far fetched. It didn't sound far fetched to me when I first seen it, because I understand that Walmart and a lot of these big companies, they do have third party sales. A lot of sales, a lot of things when you see shipping taking forever to get to you and the Walmart's down the street or Target's around the corner is because a lot of times they're third party people. But for them to match up with all of these missing children is more than a coincidence. And even if it was a person doing this for fun, who does that in your right mind to do something like that? That's why I said so many of things start to add up. And we
It
live in a
may.
sick and dark world that there's surface level things like our day to day getting up, doing our regular routines, going to work, going to school,
Hmm.
going to the park, whatever. And then there's the dark, sinister things that happen behind the scenes.
Yeah.
There are some wicked people in this world. And now people really put the face to some of these people and see I mean, think of it. There's a lot of actors and musicians that we adore
Yep.
who about their life. I remember these pictures that were circling around, like all of these celebrities. I remember Gwen Stefani was in it. Um, what's his name? Farrell, the funny one. Can't even think of his name right now. He was in the pictures, and they had these cakes that looked like human bodies,
Hmm.
all up and through it. What's his name? Neil Patrick Harris.
Yep.
After Amy Winehouse passed away, he had a cake that looked like her deceased body. I don't know in what world where that seemed okay. I can even take it back to, you remember America's Next Top Model? And there was the episode where Tyra had the girls to be models, and they had a model. They were basically laying on tables and had sushi on them, and the people were
Oh yeah, the
cooking food
sushi.
off of them.
Yeah, yeah.
That was like the soft core version of the
Real fun.
hardcore stuff. Think about it,
Yep.
because I understand. I don't want to kink shame. That's a thing.
Yeah.
And when we talking about kinks, I ain't talking about this crazy stuff we are talking about, but to do some of these things, we can't normalize it, and that's a way of normalizing things. When you look at some of that I mean, because I remember that episode because I was like, I don't know if I want to be naked with a whole bunch of leaves on me, and they just picking sushi. Like, why?
Body is like very infamous,
So
and I believe this rabbit hole of the Epstein files, because if you look at Epstein and you start noticing that he's a part of the whole Pizzagate thing, and you're
he
starting
is
to realize
Pizzagate.
that he was a facilitator in a
Mm-hmm.
bigger picture, and the deeper, like you said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Believe it or not, no matter how dark and sinister this stuff that you're reading in these files that have been released, and mind you, it's not all of them. There's 6 million, and we only got 3 million that was released. This is just the tip, ladies and gentlemen, of what's going on in a bigger picture. And Epstein was just a facilitator. And let's not get on the rabbit hole of him still being alive and that they have pictures, if you go on TikTok, of him
Yeah,
being
because
released
those have been disproven.
and stuff. And that's been disproven. But it's another rabbit hole that people go down. And I'm just like
Because they want you to be focused on Epstein.
distracted.
They want you to be focused on Ghislaine. They want you to be focused on people who Ghislaine is locked up right now,
Yeah.
and she needs to be put in a place where they can get a hold of. But we need to talk about the ones that's walking around. We need to
Yeah.
talk about the ones who are probably tweeting, not tweeting, sorry, on True Socialing pictures of former presidents and their wives, depicting them as monkeys. We need to go to all of those big, big people like old boy that's over Tesla, old Bill Gates, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people we need to put the smoke on. This is not a this is not Carmen San Diego. This is
And
not
especially with the
fine.
capital I.
This
This stuff like
this
that.
is
Yeah.
this is not find where Epstein is so he can get justice. No, no, so justice can be served to him. No,
It's about
no.
everybody. All of them that's in them files. All them people under the redactions that they try to redact. And FYI, people have figured out how to unredact what y'all trying to black out. People have
Mhm.
figured that out, ladies and gentlemen. So, all of it needs to be revealed.
It
No matter
does.
how deep it goes, no matter how dark it gets, it needs to be revealed so we can get this stuff out of here. And you know it's ridiculous when you also hear rumors of them having camps for grown ass adults that essay children. They have
Yep.
actual camps. Don't believe me? Look it up.
And look, I was told that a lot of places, like certain churches, certain particular church, it start with a C. You can figure it out. They
Mhm.
have insurance for their PDF files.
Yep. For them PDF files. You know it's sad when you got to have an actual insurance for that. That's
That's
ridiculous.
insane.
And so I believe us, and I know there's other like minded people like us that say, hey, we don't care who's in it. We don't care what party you represent. If you were in them files, you need to be exposed.
Yep.
And a lot of this stuff goes full circle, going touching back on slavery and what was done to our people and our ancestors. And you can see the similarities in what's in the files and what's being done to
Hmm.
actual children and what's being done to like adults and what the sickening minds that they have.
Think about that think about that model who was screaming. She was Hispanic and she was talking about what they were doing.
Yep.
People thought she was crazy.
Oh, that's
Thought
straight
she was
stuff.
crazy.
You're starting to think, hold up. Uh,
And then she disappeared. Didn't she disappear?
yep.
Oh, and then to see where Epstein had those his mouth was swollen and um it showed what it looks like when people who eat human flesh, they get this certain type of infection on their mouths like that. So that makes you be like, and there's so many videos that is surfacing right now of some of his videos that was in his camera roll, him chasing women around,
In the dark
screaming.
and they screaming and children screaming. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And there's a picture of a door that leads directly down to the ocean. It has stairs. And a lot of people were trying to predict, well, what was it? Was it a submarine? Was it a place to dispose bodies? Was it the mermaid?
Let's not get on that. See, another rabbit hole that y'all not ready
I
for.
know, I
That
know,
y'all
I
not ready
know.
for.
That's
Y'all want
why,
to talk
like,
about sirens and mermaids and things of that nature.
because
Y'all
I
want to
mean,
get into that
and I'm not
conversation.
trying to, I ain't trying to stir up nothing.
Y'all want to
But
get
think
into those
about it. Think
conversations.
about when all those videos were going on about the guy talking about being with the elites and they was out there eating mermaids. And then when you think about the mermaids and you think about you think about all of the hold on, when you think about all of the things that you hear with these elites, you start to be like, man, what is some of this make sense?
The deeper this hole goes, the darker it gets, the more sinister it gets. Ladies and gentlemen that are out there
No, I
reading
hate
those
that.
files, and when you
Over
read
that.
it, I'll admit to y'all the stuff that I've been able to find on Reddit and read, I've had to stop. I couldn't sleep.
Mhm.
I literally have been up for hours just like, holy shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I
Yep.
can't imagine this happening to a loved one
Anyone.
of
I
mine
mean, it's
and children that I've mentored. And like, because I've worked with at-risk youth and I've worked with um foster kids in camps and stuff like that. I can't imagine that. That's what kept me up. I would just be sitting up, like not able to sleep. And you want to know why? Because I'm a person of conviction that has conviction. And I'm just like, how can you do this and sleep at night? How is your mind like made like that to want that? I don't get it. I can't get it. It's kept me up many a nights. That's why I have bad insomnia as is. Because reading that shit, and I was just like, fuck. So I can only imagine what other like minded people are thinking. Like, holy shit. Like, you know
but
what I mean?
imagine this. Imagine being an evicted because we know they have tried their best to numb us to what happened in slavery. So we can't
Yeah.
sympathize with it like we should. But think about being a victim who's currently still out here
Mm-hmm.
and you listening to people downplay everything that happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to them make it seem like it's just this big hoax. It's got to be hard. It's
It
got to be
that's a
hard.
tough pill, man. That's a tough thing to like
And
just
and
think about.
knowing how at-risk youth are so disregarded,
Mm-hmm.
knowing how kids being thrown and think about those foster homes. Think about all of these kids, these missing children. And then you look at some of these people who were tied and making it seem like they were for the children. Their names is mentioned in there. Like, was it Tim Tebow? Oh, you seen the stuff on him?
No, and I don't want to because you know how
Because
I
you
work with
see it and
kids,
you be like,
and that would piss me off,
oh,
enrage
well,
me, because like,
oh, just, it's there.
because like that's why I stopped reading the shit because I was like, I was getting pissed. Like, if I find these motherfuckers, I'm, I can't even say, but I had to stop. That's how the stuff that I've been able to get my hands on and read. That shit is
Well,
heartbreaking.
but you know what? Maybe not. for our eyes, especially if you've hit a point where it's too much for you to read.
Yeah.
But people need to read it. People need to hear it. They
Yep.
need to hear all this thing because we can't sweep it under the rug. Just
Okay.
as heinous and horrible as some of it is, all the ugly needs to be
Step to your left, sweets.
pulled from under the rug. Hmm?
Come to your left a little bit.
Sorry. Look, I'm
Yeah.
getting so mad I'm ripping wallpaper off.
Yeah. Like,
I'm like, I'm just it's it's just so I'm ready for the mayhem. I'm ready for the chaos. I'm ready. When I say I'm ready for the chaos, I'm ready for us to, as that old saying, now I don't want to eat them, but eating the rich or basically coming for the rich, it's time for them to be dethroned. So with
it's
that
time for
old
that
saying, those
pendulum to
who are at the
swing.
bottom shall be at the top.
That pendulum, it's time for it to swing.
It is. And now it's going to swing in a whole, because here's the thing. There's one thing to be associated with being a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
There's another thing to be associated with a rapist. There's a different thing to be associated with a rapist who is a PDF file and a cannibal and bestiality practicing type of person. You can walk around safely and be like, yeah, I support it. So you gonna let him eat you too? Are you gonna give your child to him? Let him sacrifice your child? I just want to know. Just wondering because that's what they doing.
It makes you genuinely think about that question that Ye had in that song Power. He said, "Are you powerful enough to let power go?"
Oh my god, that used to be
Makes
my
you really
jam.
think about it. You know what I'm saying? Are you powerful enough to let power go? And if you got to go to
Hmm.
this severity of sacrificing people and children, it makes you really have to ask that question. Like, are you powerful enough to let power go?
He also so interesting we talking about Kanye West.
Yeah.
Now, the old Kanye West from My Sick, Dark, Twisted
Twisted
Fantasy.
fantasy.
And to the past, anything behind that. I was a fan.
Yeah. Graduation.
And when that's why I say anything from there all the way back to his beginnings. When he said in Monster, I can do anything, gosh, it's cool now. And it basically is the foundation to what good old Trumpy boy has got away with.
Whatever I
Make he can
want
do
to
it,
do.
he do anything. It's cool now. What is wrong is what well, what is wrong is right, and what is right is wrong. And it's been people like you and I who have been fighting a good battle to stand up for what truly is right. You guys out here normalizing this mess
Yeah.
until it gets to your door. Because I would love to ask that question. So if you're still a supporter
Hmm.
and you see that it states cannibalism and ritual sacrifices, are you willing to sacrifice yourself or your children for this person because you stand by them? Honestly, because if you are,
Yep.
okay, kudos to you. But if you ain't, why you still rocking with
Yep.
it?
But this
And
makes you really think all of y'all people that are the mega Kool-Aid drinkers and all of y'all really got to start having some heart to hearts with yourself and really think about this stuff. If not if, but what you see that is true within these files, now you have to question what you genuinely have been supporting.
mhm.
Now you really got to ask them hard questions. What have
You
you and
know,
your
somebody
family
said in a
genuinely been
comment, they
supporting?
said we were funding it.
What have y'all
The
really
American
been
people been
funding?
funding this foolishness.
What are y'all really up to? What is this thing that you've really been supposedly supporting and giving your all to? Are you willing to continue to keep going down that hill? Are you willing to down that hill literally? This ain't even about a figurative language anymore now. This is something. Are you really willing to down that hill? Are you willing to fall on that sword?
Mm-hmm.
And this ain't
Are
even
you?
like figuratively. This is a literal thing now, based on what
Like,
you're
yeah,
reading in these
ain't
files.
no metaphors.
Ain't no
Like,
metaphors no more. Now you got to
you
be
willing to
like,
sacrifice
hey,
it?
you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it, people.
Yeah, you.
Let's talk
Man,
about it.
that's
I mean,
crazy.
come on. We here now.
How deep are you in this?
How
How
deep
far
are
are you
you
willing to
in this?
go?
Ladies and
Like,
gentlemen?
how far are you willing to go for who you love? Like, are you ready
Y'all
to
hear that
to
song? Love me. Yeah, you're going to be
like
really
how
asking
much
that
do you
question.
love him? Like, do you
Like,
still
for
think
real.
he's doing God's work?
You really think
Do,
that's God's work?
do you think the Democratic Party? And it's like, let's be realistic. These Christian Republicans, y'all got to get a grip. The only thing y'all been surviving off of is darn pro-choice. I mean, pro-life,
My thing is this.
pro-life.
I believe that personally, religion and politics should not be in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen it with the stuff that I posted about like people saying that like going against the orange guy is going against God. How can you even put the two
Crazy
in the
word.
same sentence? That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to sit there and compare the two and have that and try to have them in the same sentence with God, I personally believe you out your mind. And that's not real Christianity. But we're not going to go into that on here. Y'all determine your own conclusion with that. But what
Mm-hmm.
I will say is this to all y'all people out there that's still hanging on,
Like, how long do you hang on?
it's time to ask some real genuine questions. It's time for you to ask yourself some genuine questions. Like, what have you actually been supporting? Are you willing to go to that level now that you're reading this stuff in those files? Have you even looked at them? Have you ever taken a peek? Have you
Do
read
you
them?
believe it? Question
Do
is, do
you
you
believe
believe
it?
it's made up?
Do you believe it's made up? You're gonna have to start having some hardcore
You know somebody ain't heard that from
questions.
Crazy Eyed Cash Patel.
True,
Yes.
true.
Where's Crazy Eyed Cash Patel?
Yeah. Where you at though?
No. Wait, before we close this.
Yeah.
They're eating the cats and dogs.
Where they at though?
And dogs are the least
Of your problems.
of the worries. I would rather it being a eating the cats and dogs type of situation than what we have here.
It's sickening to be like kids, babies taste like cream cheese. That is sickening.
Mhm.
That's sick.
Putting them on your pizza, having your pizza party.
Good God. That's sick, ladies and
But
gentlemen.
I think before you and I start to vomit
Yeah.
and feel like we're forced to eat it, I think it's time for us to come to a conclusion. And on that note, this has
I'm
been
gonna
an artist.
I'm gonna
Okay.
end it with this is that for all of y'all followers of the drinking the mega Kool-Aid, y'all, it's time for y'all to have some hardcore conversations with yourself
Mm-hmm.
on what you've been supporting this entire time.
Yep.
And you gotta ask yourself some hard questions. Them hard questions.
Like, are you really wanting to die on this hill?
Do you really want to down this hill or fall on this sword? Ask yourself that
Because
question.
if you
'Cause
do,
we
they're gonna
hanging
eat
our
you.
hands. We know what side we stand on of history. Do you really want to be on this side of history when
Mm-hmm.
it all falls down and that pendulum swings? Do you really want to be on that side of history? Ask yourself these questions, ladies and gentlemen. because that's what you are going to have to live with at the end of the day. And that's all I got to say on it.
Mhm. And with that, this has been the Artist and Thinker podcast.
Peace.